This is the Surly Grognards for January 5th, 2015. Holy crap, it's a new year.
Where's my flying car? You lied to me, Back to the Future too.
Apparently some company in France is working on it.
Where's my man-portable cold fusion that functions off of garbage?
Yeah.
Where's my Jaws 15?
I'm thankful for that one. So, it's a new year. This is Peter Bowman, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend and co-host, Eric Carlson. It's a new year, Eric, and how are you doing?
Ghost pepper vodka. That's my answer for everything.
I see.
It's actually not bad. Huh.
Well, so we're going to cover...
I'm doing all right, is what I'm saying.
I figured. All right, so we're going to cover a couple of things tonight. We're first going to talk a little bit about what we're looking forward to in the upcoming year in terms of gaming, television, movies, and so on. And then we'll probably talk a little bit about a topic that someone suggested. I think it's a suggestion from Azul. Yes, it is. Which is sort of talking a bit more about combining genres, different, Western and Eastern combinations and such. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. But to start things off, it's a new year. We should talk about what's coming up in the new year that we're looking forward to. So, Eric,
Yes.
Let's start off with gaming stuff. What is coming up in the new year that you're looking forward to?
I'm really looking forward to Iron Kingdoms Unleashed, which regular listeners will know I've been looking forward to for a while now.
Yep.
Soon. Trademark.
Yeah. I'm intrigued to see how that's going to work out.
Yeah. It's probably, the game system's going to be largely the same, I imagine, but
Yep.
the tone's probably going to be very different. And also pigmen.
Oh, the Pharaoh.
Yes. Pigmen and fish monsters.
Right. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what's coming up that's coming out that I'm aware of that I'm actually looking forward to. I'm a little behind the sort of I'm a little behind the times and sort of keeping an eye on what's coming out, and so I'm not sure exactly what's coming out that I'm looking forward to. I usually keep better track of it, but I've
Yeah.
really not been paying a lot of attention to what's coming out in gaming stuff in the near future.
Oh, something I don't know if I'd say I'm looking forward to so much as dreading, because I'm going to have to buy it. But, so Games Workshop has been doing this whole end times thing for a storyline
Right.
for fantasy,
Okay.
where they release big fat book of flavor with some special rules and whatnot for a variety of armies. First it was Undead with Nagash, then it was a Nurgle book, then it was Dark Elves, and now apparently the next one is Skaven.
Ah.
I'm gonna have to buy that one.
Because you are hardwired to buy everything relating to Skaven, aren't you?
Well, I'm not gonna buy the new Vermin Lord because it's over designed and kind of silly looking. But but yeah, I'm gonna have to buy that book.
Right.
And it's not gonna be cheap. It's gonna be like $100.
Ooh. Ow. I mean, I guess there's some stuff I'm trying to think of what's coming out that I'm actually looking forward to. I mean, I've just not been paying as much attention as I normally do. I mean, there's much stuff that's come out recently that I might take a look at this upcoming year. Like, I'll probably end up taking a look at 5th edition D&D at some point.
Yeah, I've had a chance to peruse that. It actually looks not bad. They seem to have done a hard retreat from 4th edition, but they didn't really seem to embrace too much of the previous editions either. So much as just sort of getting more of the feel back. The book feels more 3rd edition, like the way it's laid out and the
Right.
and whatnot. It's actually a gorgeous book.
Sigh.
But yeah, things seem okay, but I haven't played it. I didn't really look at the magic stuff because fuck your wizards. I'm going to hit things with an axe.
Yeah. I'm not even sure what's coming out in video games this year. I mean,
Witcher 3.
I guess,
given-
yeah.
Yeah, but given that I couldn't something about The Witcher 2 just I keep on bouncing off of. Like, I don't know, it's the gameplay or the pacing or the storyline or the fact that I don't find the main character terribly engaging. I don't know.
I still haven't played
Supposedly
any of
it's
those.
really, really good. I keep bouncing off of it.
Yeah, I haven't picked up either of those. Actually, that's not true. I owned The Witcher 1. I still haven't played it yet.
Right.
I picked it up when it was on Steam sale for like $2. Thought about doing the same thing with Witcher 2 during the winter sale, but I decided that since I hadn't played The Witcher 1 yet, I'll hold off.
Witcher 2 was a gift from my brother a while back, so
Right.
which he loves. He thinks it's fucking great. I don't know what about it that I keep bouncing off of.
So I'm gonna take a quick look at what's upcoming on Steam, just because apparently there's a Warhammer Quest game coming out.
Yeah, there's a Mordheim game coming out soon too.
Yeah. I don't know enough about the Warhammer Quest game to know. I don't know if it's multiplayer or not is the problem.
Warhammer Quest should be multiplayer.
It should be, but that doesn't mean
It's
it is.
Warhammer Quest.
It should be, but that doesn't mean it will be. If it is true online multiplayer, then I'm all over that because Warhammer Quest was awesome.
Yeah. I can't imagine that not being multiplayer. I mean,
It doesn't. I remember looking at it on like the Steam store at one point. It didn't say either way, so I was like, damn it.
it's Warhammer Quest. It's like playing. It's like, I don't know. It's like Space Hulk without the nids, or the Space Hulk,
I mean,
or the Marines. It's like, yeah, it's an integral part of the Warhammer Quest thing. Like, I can't. Yeah.
It's a pseudo RPG. It should be multiplayer, but
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I could see it being a sort of a single player RPG type thing, computer RPG, and that wouldn't be terrible.
Maybe.
But I'm not as excited by it if it's not multiplayer, basically. But I admit, I'm kind of looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to Mordheim.
Yes.
If they do as good a job with that as they did with Blood Bowl, because I believe Cyanide's doing that one.
And more important, Skaven. So we know Skaven's one of the playable war bands. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's coming out for vids for 2015. Nothing that's really. I pay more attention to the industry than you do, and I haven't really noticed anything terribly interesting coming up.
Right.
So it might just not have been announced yet. So
yeah, I'm certain there's more stuff in the video games, but there is stuff that's coming out in the movies that I know for a fact both of us are looking forward to.
yes.
And on television. The first and most obvious one being, of course, the Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yeah, that's going to happen. I'm going to go see that, and I'm going to enjoy the fuck out of it. And then if it sucks, I'll probably realize that 2 weeks later and going, wait a minute.
I don't think it's going to suck.
No, it's unlikely. Marvel hasn't failed us yet.
They've had a few.
They've done it less than stellar, but they haven't failed.
Right. They've had a few missteps here and there, but, they've got, the casting choice of Kevin Spacey as Ultron is brilliant.
Yes. Yeah. And the trailers they've shown so far have been suitably interesting. They've gotten me excited.
So that's coming out. Ant-Man's coming out, which I have no idea what to make of that.
I'll watch it. I'll see how it is. I mean, it's a Marvel movie. I pretty much always see those in the theater.
Right. And there's some. I'm trying to think. There's some other movie I was looking forward to, and I've forgotten what it is now.
Mad Max Fury Road.
That's more your
but I'm totally down with that.
I have no problems with the Mad Max movies, honestly. I enjoyed the second one. Mad Max.
That's the Road Warrior.
Road Warrior. Isn't the Road Warrior the first one?
No, Mad Max is the first one.
You're right. I always get
the second one.
Right, it's the Road Warrior. I really like the Road Warrior.
Yeah, the Road Warrior is fucking awesome.
Mad Max is okay.
The Ayatollah of rock and rolla.
And Beyond Thunderdome had moments.
Beyond Thunderdome is great until it hits the brick wall with the fucking kids. And then once they get back to Bartertown, it starts to pick back up again.
It's still very silly.
Yes. Oh, it's exceptionally. Mad Max is silly.
It's silly for a Mad Max movie, Eric.
Okay, yeah, it's silly for a Mad Max movie.
But yeah, I've got some. I'm not looking forward to it. I just sort of like. But I admit it's not in the same realm as the amount I am actively looking forward to the Avengers: Age of Ultron movie.
Yeah.
There's a third Marvel movie coming out this year. I forget what it is.
Is there?
I think there is.
It's not.
Isn't
It's
the
not
third?
Doctor Strange, is it?
No, that's 2016.
It's
I
next.
think.
Yeah, it's 2016.
Crap. They do 3 movies a year usually.
Yeah. I can't remember what it is.
I'm
if it
gonna
is
look this
coming
up
out.
while we're doing this.
Right. No, because no, wait. Last year had Thor: The Dark World, Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, you're right. It's just 2 this year.
Okay.
Just Age of Ultron and Ant-Man.
Yeah.
It's 2 a
And
year.
it's
That's
still
right.
it's still the fucking Avengers, so you know.
Yeah, the 2016 is going to be Captain America: Civil War and Doctor Strange.
Cool.
I'm of 2 minds about Civil War. On
No,
the one hand,
I read that storyline, so I don't know anything about it beyond Tony Stark and Captain America punch each other, and Peter Parker gets a new stupid outfit.
I have loved both the Captain America movies.
Yes.
On the other hand, I didn't like the Civil War storyline. On the other hand, Doctor Strange starring Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, I'm totally going to see.
Yeah, I'm fucking down with that.
But that's
I'm gonna
2016,
that.
so
That's happening. That's over a year from now. It's probably closer to a year and a half.
I know.
But coming out next month, I think we get Jupiter Ascending, which looks like crazy, over-the-top, ridiculous space opera, which I'm all over.
Cool. That sounds it.
There's a dragon man and like a wolf guy and like the girlfriend from that 70s show is like a secret princess living on Earth who's actually the heir to a massive like space corporation. I don't know. It looks like it's going to be Chronicles of Riddick, which is a great movie as long as they remember it's Conan in space.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, there's some stuff coming up this year and there. There's some television that's coming up that I'm actively looking forward to. I'm more sort of in tune with that. There's gonna be the next season of Doctor Who, of course.
Yes.
In the late in the year. I absolutely completely fucking adored Peter Capaldi's run as the Doctor.
I need to finish up this season. I fell way behind and then just never got caught up.
It's worth it. Honestly,
I haven't disliked it. I've really enjoyed Peter Capaldi as Doctor Who. Is just
I've really enjoyed how I thought Jenna Coleman was better with him than she was with Matt Smith.
Oh, absolutely. She was. I liked her a lot more with Capaldi, largely because they're much more confrontational with one another.
Yep.
It's a lot more entertaining.
Yeah. Also, the thing it's interesting because there's very definitively real affection between the two characters.
Yes, but it's that kind of like it's happily sniping at one another.
It honestly reminds me of sort of socially awkward older brother and outgoing younger sister.
Yeah.
Who both of them are smart and like needling each other.
Yes.
But would do anything for each other, and that's sort of the relationship that this pair has. I think they almost come across as siblings more than anything else, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, no more of the friggin' like forced romantic interest bullshit.
I mean, there are elements of that.
Sexual tension. You guys love that, right?
There are elements of that at times, but it's not sexual. It's just it's interesting. Also, I did watch the Christmas special, which the trailer for which made it look terminally silly, And it turned
Oh,
out that it was better
okay.
because it involves Santa Claus.
Yeah, well, Santa Claus, yeah.
But there's actually a good explanation for it in
Is
the
it
episode.
murder a space Santa Claus like in
Nope,
Futurama?
nope.
Oh,
But it
I'm
is played by Nick
somehow
Frost.
disappointed.
But it's played by Nick Frost.
All right, that is pretty cool.
No, it's actually a pretty good special, a pretty good episode. I enjoyed it. I'm
right.
really looking forward to next season. I'm also looking forward, of course, as always, there's going to be another season of Top Gear finally, which I'm looking forward to because I adore Top Gear.
I'm trying to think of stuff that's coming out for television that I'm interested in. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
The second half of the second half of the season of Agents of Shield will also be coming out this year. I know you fell behind on that also.
I fell behind on that, but didn't fall behind it on so much as like just sort of drop it in favor of other things. Apparently, it got good right about the time I dropped it.
Yeah,
so.
I came back to it after hearing people say it got better, so I got caught up. It's like, oh my god, this is much better than it had been, and season 2 has been really good so far. I would recommend getting caught up on that because it's
that's what everyone says, and I need to do it at some point.
it's a lot of fun.
Oh, new season of Archer,
Cool.
which you don't care about, but I fucking love that show.
I've watched some of Archer. I think it's funny, and I can see why people absolutely fucking adore it. It's not really my cup of tea.
No, it's not really your cup of tea, and I can totally see why it's not your cup of tea. There's a lot of people being horrible to each other.
Right. It's funny. There have been parts of it I thought were absolutely hysterical, but they're long stretches. I'm like, eek.
Anytime Krieger's on screen, it's just, yeah, it's awesome. Dr. Krieger's awesome.
Anything else you're looking forward to in 2015, Eric?
Let me see here. I don't really see a lot of interesting stuff coming up for video games. Like I said, Jupiter Ascending, blah blah blah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure I'll think of something else further down the road to the episode.
Let me take a quick look through a couple of websites, see if we can see any other big video games coming out that might be of note.
Oh, there isn't No Man's Sky supposed to be coming out this year?
Maybe Halo 5.
Yeah.
Evolve looked interesting. It's sort of a multiplayer competitive thing, sort of.
Oh, yeah. I
There's a
remember seeing trailers for that.
Team of 4 players playing as monster hunters and another player playing a kaiju, basically.
Yeah.
Which looked
That looked mildly interesting.
I watched people playing the alpha of it, and it looked interesting, but I don't know if I really want it. But I'm definitely interested to see how that will end up looking. Let's see.
Aren't we supposed to get the Blizzard multiplayer team game coming out?
Supposedly.
What was that? Overwatch? That looked like a lot of fun. And not just because it had a mecha knight and a powered armored gorilla.
Right. There's a new Oddworld game coming out. This all looks like all console stuff on this list. Oh, no, it's not.
I don't believe in consoles anymore.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff coming out that I don't know anything about.
Right. I'll probably end up playing Halo 5 at some point. If only because people want to get together and play their Xboxes, and which means Halo 5.
Apparently there's a new Warhammer 40,000 game coming out for basically all platforms, including PC.
Really?
Warhammer 40,000 Eternal Crusade is some sort of RPG-ish type thing.
Okay. That could be kind of cool.
Yep. Persona 5's coming out. If you're into the Persona series, that's...
I keep hearing things about the Persona games, and I just haven't bothered to pick one up. Apparently they're good.
They're apparently among the best JRPGs that have come out at all recently. If I wasn't so burned out on JRPGs, because I burned out on them pretty hard,
Yeah.
I would definitely pick some up, especially now that I have a PS3.
Yeah, I totally fell out of love with JRPGs. And it's just, I don't know. I just don't dig them anymore. I mean, I kind of want to try Fire Emblem at some point, but that requires I get a freaking 3DS.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pick one of those up for one game.
Right. Yeah, so there's some other stuff coming out, but that's stuff that I know of off the top that I quickly was able to find quickly. But at
Yeah.
any rate, we should get on to our other topic because
Yes.
while we could go on and on about things that we may or maybe not coming out, we probably just start rambling about other things
As we do.
as we were wont to do. And I figure we should start the year off at least semi on topic.
We can try.
Yeah. Well, the other thing we're talking about is Azul sent us a really cool post on the forums, which says that one of the things that Azul likes Azul thinks that one of the things that makes Slayers as amazing as it is the combining of different cultural ideas, mainly that from Western fantasy, the D&D elements, and that of the sort of Japanese fantasy. Both those are in huge quotation marks, which you can see a lot of other elements that in Slayers also, because duh.
Yes.
I'm beginning to think that other things mentioned on the stream, like Samurai with Westerns, where things blend just so well together that borrow from obviously just different sources. Thank you, Akira Kurosawa, for the Seven Samurai. That was me, though. One of the things video games, tabletop games, books, etc. have done so. Where has this gone amazingly? Where has this gone horribly? And so on and so forth. And maybe even talk a little bit about localization, or people like the abridging community, like Team 4-Star and Little Karibo, who I think is technically part of Team 4-Star now at this point. I don't know. Who take the material and combine it with things that the target audience would understand while keeping the original story mostly intact. There's been a lot of that over the years, sort of mushing those things together.
Yeah. Western and space opera immediately leap to mind.
Yeah, Firefly is sort of the one that leaps to mind.
Which is... Yeah, there's actually a lot of Western and space opera that combines really well together. Cowboy Bebop,
Yep.
Trigun, Firefly. And there have been some real sad misfires looking at you, Cowboys and Aliens.
Yeah.
I really wanted to like that movie.
Cowboys and Aliens is sort of combining, like, it was like trying to combine the pulp sort of, alien invasion stuff with pulp Western stuff, and it didn't really work.
I don't think it embraced enough of the silliness. It was the problem.
That's very likely what it was.
It was... I mean, you can take yourself seriously, but it's an inherently ridiculous concept, and you should embrace that.
Right. Yeah, I just started talking about some of the things we were mentioning there, like Bebop. It's really interesting looking at sort of because both Bebop and Trigun combine sci-fi and westerns.
Yes.
But they do it in such wildly different ways.
Yeah, and Bebop also combines like noir and classic Yakuza movies, and there's a lot of different stuff all thrown together with Bebop.
Admittedly, the classic Yakuza movies is sort of the Japanese equivalent of film noir to a certain degree.
Yeah, fair enough.
So it's really blending in sort of both the Eastern and Western noir into the Wild West.
Flying around in a tramp steamer picking up bounties.
I adore that about Bebop. Just the feel of that is just great. And Trigun's more pure Western plus sci-fi.
Yeah.
That one, it leans much more heavily on the Western tropes than Bebop does.
It leans a lot more heavily on the Western tropes, but it also tends to, like, when Trigun gets serious, it gets really fucking serious.
Yes.
And it will just switch tone like on a fucking dime.
That's a very sort of Eastern thing to do. In
and it does it well.
Media.
I've seen other shows try to do that with considerably less success. Red Dwarf tries to do that, and
it doesn't do the series nearly as well.
Yeah, it doesn't do the serious nearly as well, and it feels much more jarring. Like, yeah.
I mean, honestly, the Slayers does it too.
Yeah.
But the thing I think the reason it works well in the Slayers is because they grab on with their fingernails to the comedic tone, even in the serious stuff.
Yes.
They're like, yeah, we're not letting you forget this is a comedy. We're doing serious epic stuff here, but here's Prince Phil to laugh at.
Because Prince Phil is awesome.
And fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Like, who doesn't love Prince Phil? I'll tell you who. Terrorists.
Oh, yeah. But yeah,
looking at other genre mashups like Cyberpunk and film noir with Blade Runner. Fucking
Oh,
one
absolutely.
of my favorite movies ever,
Yep.
and it does it so fucking seamlessly.
Right. There are a lot of movies there have been a bunch of movies over the. I mean, you'll see a lot of combining of. I mean, westerns combined with other stuff happens all the time. That's just
Yeah,
and there's been a bit. There have been a big swing of that and sci-fi. I actually think the other big one that happened recently was combining space opera and the superhero stuff with Guardians of the Galaxy,
yes,
because that is largely a space opera with superhero trappings.
yes. You could even just drop the superhero stuff entirely, and it would still come off as just a really fun space opera.
But I mean, it very definitively has superheroic elements to it. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you've got fucking Thanos running around in the background going, "Moo, ha, 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 I'm going to do the Infinity War."
there's a lot of stuff in there that does that. I finally saw Guardians of the Galaxy and immensely enjoyed it.
Yeah, that movie is loads of fun.
That was a lot of fun. It's not as good as the best of the Marvel movies. It's not as good a movie as, say, Captain America: The First Avenger, which I think is still probably the best movie of the bunch.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're probably right.
I would say it's probably not as good a movie as the first Avengers movie.
The first Avengers movie has the advantage that it's leaning heavily on all the previous movies
Yep.
to have previously established characters that you're already familiar with.
Exactly.
So you can get straight to the other shit.
Right. So they don't have. Yeah. Exactly. And I would say it's basically on par with the Winter Soldier. I'd probably give
Yeah.
the nod to the Winter Soldier just slightly, although the action scenes are much better in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, yeah, you got a friggin' like raccoon with a machine gun.
That is, it's not just that; it's they're better shot in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
You can
I
see
think
what's
part
going
of it
on.
is yeah, you can see what's going on in Guard. I think part of that is bowing to the genres they're drawing from. Like
Yeah.
Captain America is drawing very heavily from the action spy thrillers,
Right.
the likes of like the Bourne movies and such, which traditionally have sort of a wacky, shaky cam, quick smash cuts between action kind
There's
of thing.
that also. I think, as I said, the guy who directed Winter Soldier, I've mentioned this before, has never done anything action oriented before, and you can see that.
Yeah,
Didn't do a bad job with it, but it's very clear he didn't really have the confidence in that he had in every other shot he did. Because almost everything else was really well shot.
yeah.
It's just those scenes just didn't work quite as well.
Meanwhile, Galaxies is just let's go have fun.
It's a fun movie. I love Guardians of the
It's
Galaxy.
a ridiculously fun movie, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, apparently also, Beck in the chat mentions that, apropos of nothing, apparently there's going to be a live-action Ghost in the Shell movie coming down with Scarlett Johansson playing the Major.
Okay.
That could work, or it
I
may never...
guess that could work. I mean, I guess the Major could be like having a white girl's body for a while, and it is a cybernetic body. She could look whatever she wants to.
Whatever. I don't... that aspect of it doesn't really matter to me. Again, it's a question of can she act, and the answer with Scarlett Johansson is hell yes.
Yes, Scarlett Johansson can fucking act. Under the Skin, which I haven't seen the whole thing of. I've seen various scenes from. She can act with no words, which is a hard thing to do.
Yes. No, she's good. If assuming it actually gets made, which is not a guarantee.
Yeah.
But yeah. But yeah,
At
outside
least it's
of
not Keanu Reeves and Akira.
oh lordy, but
It's still in development hell, by the way. It'll probably never get made, but it sits there looming, threatening us with its presence like some sort of eldritch abomination just outside of our peripheral vision.
well, if the director's good, he might not suck in it because if he has a good director who could beat him into performing well, he's actually good.
I'm just really worried about the localization of Akira to relocate it to, I don't know, fucking New York or something. That's a speaking of localization, like that is something that I don't think you can set outside of Japan. Like that whole thing is built very heavily on 80s Japan, honestly.
Yeah, it is. That's the problem. There are a bunch that like in sort of in a vacuum. There's a lot of elements that would work fine in New York, but you'd have to change a lot of stuff to make it make sense.
Yeah. In which case, you might not even just call it Akira. You could just call it John. which honestly makes just as much sense because Kira's was called that because it was such a common name.
Uh-huh. And there are a bunch of, there have been a bunch of sort of local attempts at localization and remakes of foreign movies in the United States that have worked better or worse.
Yeah.
Godzilla was one that didn't work very well.
Yeah.
Speaking of the '98 one, I think.
Yeah, I still haven't seen the 2014
I
one.
haven't either.
I've heard ungood things about it. Even the good reviews are glowing about things. I'm like, but that's not necessarily a good thing with a kaiju movie.
Yeah. Jean Reno was a lot of fun in the '98 one.
The 98 one was a sad, terrible mess of a movie.
It was just bad. Oh, God.
That was a poor localization.
Yes, it was. But I was thinking we should talk a little bit about this in things other than movies, because we talk a lot about movies because we love movies. Both of us love movies.
Movies are awesome.
I used to be a huge movie buff. I don't watch them as often as I used to. I don't know. I just don't watch them as often as I used to. I guess it's part of this that I just don't enjoy. I don't really like going to the theater and paying quite that much for the experience anymore.
Yeah, they are outrageously expensive now.
And honestly, for most theaters, the experience isn't that great.
There are a couple in town now that are pretty good.
They're getting better. They're getting better.
Yeah.
I think a lot of theaters have looked at the fact they're getting their lunch eaten by people watching movies at home on big screen TVs with surround sound and going, we have to really blow that experience out of the water.
Yeah.
Fuck.
We have to make people just as comfortable and just as happy in our theaters as they are at home.
You have to make it a better. You have to make it a better experience than watching it on home on a big screen.
Yes.
And it has to be significantly better to make it worth going out to the theater and paying more money than you'd have to pay to watch it at home.
Yes.
That's the thing. That's the problem they're running into. And is the thing that a lot of theaters are working on trying to fix, or some theaters are working on trying to fix. I don't know, but outside of movies and such, maybe think about any sort of games where they've done that sort of thing. I've got one that sort of I'm thinking about, but I want to see if you got any that you're.
Well, there's Fallout, honestly. Mm-hmm. Doing a post-apocalyptic RPG with both a lot of comedic and frankly horror elements in it.
Yep. And some elements of westerns in it too, the original Fallout especially.
Yes. Well, any in that particular brand of post-apocalypse is going to have a lot of western.
That's true.
Elements.
That's true.
Like Mad Max is basically a western with cars and bondage freaks with spikes. So
yeah. I was thinking of while that was there, I was thinking of Deus Ex Human Revolution. The Deus Ex games in general, but that one in particular has a real element of noir to it.
Yes. Cyberpunk and noir go together like freaking peanut butter and jelly, though.
Yeah.
Like they go together really friggin' well.
Yep.
To the point where it's almost indistinguishable if it's done right.
Yep, I'd agree with that. I really liked how they did that in HR.
Yeah. For a game where the most memorable line is "I didn't ask for this," I never got that line.
Yeah, it's something you can say early on, from what I understand.
Yeah, and I was always like, "Woo, cyberware, let's go!"
I would let's see some other good video games where they've done that. Done it though. That's an obvious one.
Yeah.
And that's actually less obvious, I should say. Arcanum's a big one.
The whole steampunk and magic thing.
Yeah.
That's a little-known game, also. Like, not a lot of people know that game.
It's really interesting how few people actually really know about that, and it's a game that I think deserves more recognition than it gets.
Yeah.
It's got problems because it's a bit buggy. The game balance is a little bit off, but despite that, the story's really good, and just some really cool concepts in the game.
Yeah. And you could be a half-orc.
Yes, you can.
Which is always a plus in my book.
Yep. Actually, another one I just occurred to me that I should have thought of immediately. System Shock and System Shock 2, which do a
Oh yeah,
brilliant job of combining sci-fi and horror.
yeah. Again, sci-fi and horror go together really well, like peanut butter and chocolate.
Yeah.
But Final Fantasy actually,
Oh,
like particularly like the earlier ones, do a great job mashing up the science fiction and fantasy elements.
yeah. 6 especially.
Yes.
I said it's the one that does it best. It still has the feel of fantasy to it, and like 7 starts feeling less fantasy and more sci-fi.
Anytime you're hitting things with a sword bigger than you are, it's still fantasy.
Okay. Oh, I just thought of something. An anime actually that does a bit of not genre, but sort of mythology combining and sort of look and feel. Specifically, there's one. It's not very well known, and they never finished it, which is a damn shame because it's actually pretty cool. RG Veda. I think I mentioned this
Never.
once.
I don't think I've ever heard of that.
RG Veda is an anime which is its themes and background and sort of the concepts draw heavily on Hindu mythology,
Hmm.
but it's got a lot of classic Japanese fantasy anime tropes to it too.
Actually, on a similar note, Magi or Maggie or however they want to pronounce it,
Should be Magi, but yeah.
which is a shonen anime that draws really heavily on Middle Eastern mythology.
Oh, cool.
Like you've got like Alibaba and Aladdin in there, and yeah,
Oh, interesting. I'll check
it's
that out at some
actually
point.
a pretty good little show. I'm usually not a big fan of shonen anime, but yeah, I liked that one.
I'll check that out at some point.
It also goes down like popcorn. So,
Yeah, unfortunately, RG Veda I think is like 3 or 4 episodes total.
oh,
But
yeah.
if you could find it, it's worth watching those episodes. Because as I said,
I
it
have the
draws.
internet. I will find it.
It's it's very heavy. It does definitively. There's a lot of it that draws really heavily on Hindu mythology and such. But then one of the characters has basically a Buster Sword. This predates Final Fantasy VII, so they might have gotten
Right.
the idea from that from RG Veda. I don't know.
Well, remember Berserkers also predates.
Yeah, that's true.
That was another guy with a sword that's way too big.
Yeah, although with Berserk, unlike a lot of them, it's very clear that that is a massive sword that is very heavy.
Yes.
Like the way he uses it, it's not. It's clear that
Yeah.
it's not not a normal sword. He's not trying to swing it like a normal sword. So
No, he's basically swinging a piece of rebar around.
yeah,
That's a series I should rewatch at some point.
that's a show I wanted to like way more than I did. There's a lot about that show and the manga which I tried reading, which is
My first introduction to Berserk was actually a Dreamcast game.
I know which game you're talking about, and I've actually watched someone doing a let's play of it, and it was interesting.
I remember playing that when I was crashing at Quinn's between apartments once. We finished it in a night and we're like, really? That's the story? Okay. It's really fun hitting things with a sword.
I thought this if you read or seen Berserk, the story actually makes a lot more sense.
Yes. Which, thinking back on it, makes a lot more sense.
And it's like,
But yeah,
oh
that was
fuck,
my first introduction to Berserk, and I was like, what?
yeah, I can see that. But yeah, wow. But yeah, there's a lot of anime that does that sort of genre blending. I mean,
Yeah, and it's almost unavoidable.
yeah,
Every time they try to do something Western, there's going to be some pretty heavy Eastern influences because, duh.
right. And of course we've all done some, like both of us have done some combining of genres in tabletop games that we've been involved in.
Oh yeah, certainly.
I mean, I routinely will, like my sci-fi games will heavily draw both on, I mean, I tend to favor more space opera things in when I do sci-fi, but I draw on other stuff here and there. Although I tend to more favor that as doing sort of installments that I throw in sort of as a change of pace flavor.
Right. And I think we've discovered that every third adventure with me is a horror adventure.
Yeah, I'd say it's fairly accurate. Wow. Yeah. There's so much of that stuff that goes on, like, and
Yeah. For table, I over and over again, you're going to hear me say this: Iron Kingdoms,
yep.
steampunk and fantasy, and you wouldn't think this is a genre mashup, but it really is, because there's a lot less of that sort of proper Victorian going about. And,
Right. Well, that's the thing is, I've actually played a pure steampunk game.
Yeah.
I've played Castle Falkenstein, which is wonderfully weird, and that has fantasy elements in it because it involves like the Fae
right.
and dragons and such, but it's coming from the other direction. I guess the original sort of steampunk RPG would probably be Space 1889. I think is what it was called. Which
That's
I've not
a
played.
great name.
Isn't it?
Wow.
Is that a wonderful name for a game?
It's a wonderful name for many things.
Well, I mean,
Why isn't this a TV show?
well, because people might start confusing it with the TV show Space 1999.
Exactly. It's a play on that, which is why it's awesome. Except, hopefully good.
Actually, that show's better than I remembered it being. Almost the entire thing's on YouTube. I watched a little bit of it. It's not great, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
I remember watching that show and going, "Wow, this is terrible. I think I'll watch Lost in Space instead."
It's better than that.
This is back when I was in high school and I was
It's
kind of
a little bit better than that.
kick.
The special effects are not good, but that's more the era than anything else.
Yeah.
And our friend Kaz in chat mentions, of course, combining fantasy and high school, looking at you, Harry Potter, and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
Percy Jackson.
Every other anime ever.
And, yeah.
Does involve high school in some way, then it can't rightly be called anime. At least
Well,
that's what it seems
there's
like.
just a lot of young adult fantasy out there that does that, so.
Yeah. Harry Potter is more like middle school going into high school, though.
Oh, it's definitely going into high school because
Yeah.
the later stuff is definitely high school. Because you remember the British educational system is set up a bit differently than the United States.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
The weirdness with the houses and everything. I remember thinking, like, being forced into this club that I might not like. First time reading Harry Potter, like, why would you do that to kids? It sounds terrible.
Yeah, well, I have to say overall though, I do enjoy most of the Harry Potter books.
Oh no, the Harry Potter books are great, and I love the fact that they age with their targeted audience.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's a great way to do it.
But yeah, I thought they sort of, yeah. I really liked the first one, the third one, the fourth one. The rest of them are sort of okay.
I always wanted Ron to be more useful than he was. Like, Ron was really just sort of a useless hanger-on. I was like, you could have just had later on had Ron develop a. I wanted him to be a battle wizard, is what I'm saying. Like, he sucked at everything but moving large amounts of energy around, and that means he's really good at blowing shit up.
Yeah, but they don't really have the protagonist do that.
Yeah.
And honestly, he becomes a little bit better towards the end.
Yeah.
The big sort of turnaround character in that though is of course Neville.
Yes. Yeah, Neville's the one who, like, goes from, like, classic haha, look at the nerd to, like, I am the fucking hero of the story.
I am awesome.
You thought it was Harry? No, it's me.
I mean, Harry.
I'm leading the guerrilla resistance inside Hogwarts. I murder the fucking giant snake. I pull the sword out of the hat. I'm the fucking hero.
Neville's fucking awesome. That's what
Yes.
it boils down to. Back in the chat says, so you wanted Ron to be Harry Dresden.
Yes, I wanted Ron to be Harry Dresden. Because everything's better with more Harry Dresden.
Oh, there's another genre combination, actually.
Yeah, the whole modern fantasy thing,
Yep.
except Harry Dresden also throws in big heaping piles of classic mystery novels.
Yep. Which is not a bad thing at all.
No, not in the least bit. Also, like, oftentimes things are solved by animating dinosaur skeletons or or blowing up ancient Mexican ziggurats filled with vampires. I mean, the way they solve problems are fucking awesome in that game, in that series of books.
Yeah. Oh, God. So, yeah, just so much, there's so many different sort of genre combinations. And
Yeah, and they're so easy to fuck up. We've pretty much only talked about the good ones.
Yeah.
The ones that actually stick. Bad ones just sort of slide off my memory, like the friggin' Ben Affleck Daredevil movie. A movie I know I've seen, but I can't remember anything about.
Oh, God. Yeah, so, yeah,
The only one that really sticks for bad mashups is Cowboys and Aliens, and largely because I really wanted that to be good.
Yeah.
I guess you got a lot of genre mashups with Sucker Punch, but it's not really a mashup so much as a poorly tossed Cobb salad.
Yeah, I mean, there are a truckload of bad sort of sci-fi movies that mash up with other stuff, too. I mean,
yeah.
There are just tons of them. It almost made the name. Battle of the Planets leaps to mind, but... but, I mean, that's hardly fair. It's Roger Corman. But he's drawing on such good source material that
It's got a spaceship with boobs.
But it's drawing on the Seventh Samurai, and it fucks it up.
No, it does. It fucks it up so... He fucks it up so badly, it actually loops back around into entertainingly bad.
Yes, it does. I will grant that. Oh my God, I've completely forgot one of the all-time classic mashups that I think is one of my favorites.
Big Trouble in Little China?
No, although that's there.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking of Kung Fu, the original series.
Oh, yeah!
Which is combining sort of Eastern
Holy
martial arts
shit,
stuff
I forgot
and
that.
Westerns, and it does it perfectly.
Yeah, I
It's
totally
exactly
forgot about that.
one way that show could have been better.
What's that?
If they gone with the original casting choice for Kwai Chang Caine.
Oh, it was going to be Bruce Lee,
It
wasn't
was
it?
supposed to be Bruce Lee.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, they decided that a Chinese actor. No one would actually go with an actual Chinese hero as the lead of the show. It wouldn't be popular enough, so they went with David Carradine instead, who was fine. He was fun.
Yeah.
But
And David Carradine's awesome. But yeah, he's clearly not.
He's not Bruce Lee.
He's not Bruce Lee.
Do you know how good that show would have been, Bruce?
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been pretty awesome.
With that level of sort of just on-screen charisma. Oh my God!
And it's not like Bruce Lee was a particularly good actor. He just like he just forced it. He forced the script through sheer personality.
Yeah, you could not ignore Bruce.
It's like, hi, I'm Bruce Lee, and I am reading the telephone book. You will think this is awesome because I'm fucking Bruce Lee.
You're right. It's Bruce Lee. I can't argue it.
And then I will punch it.
Because he is awesome. He was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yes, Kung Fu was one of the first things that got me into Kung Fu movies, actually.
I don't doubt it. I discovered it after I discovered Kung Fu movies musically.
Yeah, well,
I got into Kung Fu movies because it was one of the things they'd show. They would routinely show on Channel 56 here in Boston on Saturdays.
Yes. But
Some really
yeah,
old,
when I was
cheesy
growing
ones.
up, I was like, oh, it's not Godzilla, fuck it.
Yeah, it's like, whereas I'd be like, oh, Creature of the Future was fun. What's this? Oh, this is so, what the, woo! Martial arts and fireballs, yay!
Yay!
This is so awesome! Oh, God. There's so many wonderful sort of genre combinations over the years.
There really are.
And it's just such a wonderful thing to mine and use ideas from.
It's also something that's easy to fuck up, as evidence.
Oh, God, yeah.
Many of the shit that we can't remember because it was just didn't stick.
Oh, God. Yeah,
Man, I really wanted Sucker Punch to be good.
yeah, I know, Eric. I know you did.
It was the biggest disappointment of that year, honestly.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Oh my god. So yeah, there's just it's one of those things that I think is it happens a lot more often than you think it would. I think is what it boils down to.
Yeah.
Almost everything in sort of the theater in the movies, like there's so many movies that come out and so many TV shows that come out and a lot of video games and role playing games that if you actually analyze it, you're going to see that there is a lot of genre combination going on there at this point.
Yeah, and rarely do you see like a pure genre something anymore.
Yeah, because a large number of those sort of pure genre stories have been kind of mined out to a large.
And not only that they've been mined out, but like the genre combinations have become so. Particular genre combinations become so intertwined that they become a genre unto themselves, like sci-fi horror.
Right.
Like it's so they're so knit together at this point that it's a genre unto itself.
I agree with that. You know, it's science fantasy to a degree too, actually.
Yeah. I mean, Star Wars is the classic example of that.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I want people to remember sci-fi fantasy is not the same thing as space opera.
This is true. Although you can do space opera and sci-fi fantasy.
Absolutely. Star Wars is a brilliant example of that.
Yes.
So, you know, there are a lot of different things.
You know what? The better Green Lantern stuff is police procedural superheroes.
Oh, absolutely.
And I really like the good Green Lantern stuff.
Yeah. I mean, for a long time, the Green Lantern was basically... The Green Lantern's a cop, basically. Space cop.
Yeah, he's a space cop. With a kick-ass piece of jewelry that lets him, like, make friggin' chain guns out of light.
Well, I mean, and that's because it draws so heavily on Doc E. Smith's Lensman books.
Yes.
Which, that's the whole point of the Lensman. They are space cops.
And yeah, the Green Lantern Corps stuff is all usually pretty damn good. And occasionally it gets stupid, like all things comic book, but...
Well, yeah, that's a given. But yeah,
like all things from a particular media, there's going to be a lot of crap. But when you find the good shit, it's really good.
But yeah, like, you know, honestly, by the way, if you've not read Doc E. Smith's Lensman books, it's worth tracking them down. They're really good. They're dated, but they're still really good. They're a lot of fun to read. Do not track down the Lensman anime. It has almost nothing to do with the books other than the names.
I saw that.
It's not good.
It's really not. For the longest time, I associated that with Lensman, and I still haven't read the books, but yeah, that anime is not good. That was during the Sci-Fi Channel's old like Saturday anime thing, where they'd show a bunch of terrible anime movies on Saturday morning.
They show some good ones too occasionally.
Oh yeah, they show some good ones. Like it was the first place I saw Akira, actually, the heavily edited version. But
right. Yeah, I didn't watch a ton of it on Sci-Fi Channel because most stuff they were showing I'd already watched on video because I'd already seen, you know, Bubblegum Crisis. I'd already seen Appleseed.
Right.
I'd already seen Akira. I'd already seen Wind Named Amnesia. I'd already seen Nausicaa Valley of the Wind.
Oh, Wind Named Amnesia. That's not a good one.
I liked parts of it, but it's not very good now. That's what I really wanted to like more than I do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Sucker Punch is what it is.
There are some amazing concepts in that, and then there's everything else.
Yeah.
But at least Nausicaa was amazing.
Yes, well, Miyazaki, what do you expect?
It's one of Miyazaki's best, in my personal opinion.
You know something I've found? Whatever Miyazaki movie you've seen first is probably your favorite. That's something I've found talking with a bunch of different people.
That was the second Miyazaki film I saw, actually.
What was the first one?
I think it was Mononoke, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Mononoke was the first one I saw, and it's my favorite. Although
I
Spirited Away is a close second. That one's
I would say When Named Amnesia is probably the best of the bunch.
that.
Largely, I will say this also. It's
No,
also
no, that's not what you're saying, because Miyazaki did not direct that piece of Drek. You're
no
thinking Nausicaa
Nausicaa Valley
Valley
of the
of
Wind.
the Wind.
I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. Yes, Miyazaki had nothing to do with Named Amnesia, and that's a good thing for Miyazaki. No, Nausicaa Valley of the Wind. Actually, no. I think Nausicaa might have been the first time I saw. Now I'm thinking about it.
I think that's one of the oldest that got ported over here.
But that
Oh,
one,
speaking of genre mashups, Spirited Away.
yeah,
That's a classic fairy tale, but told entirely with Japanese tropes and
Folklore.
mythologies.
uh, yeah.
Oh, that's a great movie. I'm going to watch that again.
But yeah, the thing about Nausicaa, actually, I do want to touch on before I forget, is part of the thing about it that I think part of the reason I like it so much is it's such a good science fiction story.
Mm.
As a note, it won the Japanese equivalent of the Hugo Award.
Unsurprising, honestly. It's really good.
It was the first. It's the first sci-fi, the first animated feature in Japan, animated whatever in Japan to win that award since Space Battleship Yamato, back in '74. See, I can tie everything back to Yamato.
Of course you can.
Not everything, but I can tie something back to Yamato.
Oh, what was it? Sandman won some prestigious literary award, and everyone was so aghast they changed the rules for the next year so that a lowly comic book could not win it. I can't remember the name of the award though.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sandman won it, and everyone was like, "What the fuck? Okay, we need to change the rules."
Why? It was really good. It deserved to win.
Yes, because Sandman's fucking amazing.
At any rate, we've been going on for about an hour or so, and we could keep talking about different things different ways that things match up. But the thing, as we said, the important thing is that honestly, if you've got an idea, if you're running a game specifically, and you've got an idea for combining two genres, go for it. They'll probably combine better than you expect them to,
Yes.
because almost every genre will combine with another genre in some way, shape, or form in an interesting way.
Yeah, I've found that's usually true. It's just a matter of working the kinks out.
And in a tabletop game, you have time to work it out, and have fun with it. And if it doesn't work out, c'est la vie. Try a new game.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Anyways, guys, we should wrap up now because it's getting a bit late. We've been going for a bit over an hour. So,
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. We hope you all enjoyed the show, found something useful or interesting or entertaining in our hour-long rambling about various things. If
Ending spiel, dude.
Ending spiel, rebooting brain. Got it. Here we go. Okay, so I'm tired. If you can't tell. So if you've we usually save the time at the end of each episode for viewer questions. We didn't get any this week, so we didn't save it. We didn't save any time for it. But if you've got questions you'd like us to answer in the show, please send them to us. We can be reached at either our email address, surlygrognards@yahoo.com, surlygrognards@yahoo.com, or you can post them on our forums, which you can find at mechagm.forumer.com. If you've got feedback for us, constructive criticism, ways we can make the show better, etc., send it to either of those places as well. If you've got show topic suggestions, we love those two fucking pieces.
Yeah, those are awesome. Those are great.
Send them to us at those places also. The email address is surlygrognards@yahoo.com, or the forums, mechagm.forumer.com. You can also hit me up on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @mechagm. The important thing is that I do tweet out when the show's going live, because we record the show live on twitch.tv/mechagm every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. I tweet out when the show's going to go live, or if we're going to have to delay the show, or if we're going to have to move it to a different day of the week, or if we're going to have to skip a week, or what have you, or if we're going to be going on break for a few weeks because of the holiday season, like we just did and we just got back from.
Yep.
Keep an eye on my Twitter. That's where you'll find that stuff out at a minimum. Let's see. If you're listening to the recording of this on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button, because we post every episode. We post an episode a week because we try to record an episode a week, and that sort of thing helps us out. Anything else I'm forgetting? Brain not working.
Candy's good.
Candy is good. Anywho, guys.
Neither of us slept terribly well last night.
No.
We're slightly more disjointed than usual.
Which is saying something. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. We'll see you guys soon. Take care. Keep on gaming, guys. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye, humans.